Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Pinkfresh Studio July release blog hop, and I have a couple of colorful projects to share with you, starting with going to be featuring the new Dainty Plaid background cling stamp along with the Dainty Plaid coordinating stencil set. I love how the back of the packaging kind of gives you an idea of what these products are supposed to look like. In the Dainty stencil set, Dainty Plaid stencil set, you get 3 stencils. I'm going to start with the Dainty Plaid background cling. So this is a great size. Normally background clings are 6 by 6, but this one here is just a little bit larger than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I have a panel of white cardstock. I'm actually using hammer mill cardstock right now. It works beautifully for foiling and for blending. But first I'm going to do a little stamping. I'm inking up this background cling with Seaside ink. Going to be using all Pinkfresh Studio inks. They blend like butter. They also stamp like butter. So I use my little stamp press majiggy that has a name but I can never remember, but it's great if you got to stamp a big area. It gets great coverage. And once I get that inked up with Seaside ink, I'm going to start with the coordinating Dainty Plaid stencil set and zhuzh it up. Now again, like I said, you could use these products separately. Like maybe you just want to use a stencil set and get a smooth plaid design. I'm using the stencil set along with the background cling, and it gives it extra detail. So you can make this as detailed or as smooth and simple, whatever toots your flute. Okay, so I'm starting with Meadow, which is a great color, coordinates well with the Seaside, kind of going for a blue-green color scheme. I'm not really doing any gradient blending, just a flat meadow stripe. Take another stencil. These are probably numbered, but I'm not going in order. I'm just going with the gut. This color is Sky Blue. It's a nice little light blue color, and when it overlaps with that meadow, it's delicioso. Okay, so we're working our way through the Dainty Plaid order. And again, you could customize this. You want to make it rainbow. You want to make it Christmassy, want to make it fall-y, you can do that. I love a good plaid. Always have, always will. Now, I'm going to add another. This is when we start bringing in the punch. Punch in the gut with a little Seaside, which is the color that I inked up the background. And I love this color. It just like wakes you up. You know what I mean? I'm using some Simon Says Stamp blender brushes. Sometimes I'll pull out a Gina K. I just grab, you know what? I'm getting so many blender brushes. They're coming out the wazoo. I got mugs of them. I've got the ink blender holders. They're all full. I don't know what happens, but they multiply. You know what I'm saying? And then I've got a ton of new ones, but I never want to break out the new ones. I don't know why. I always keep gravitating towards the old janky ones. But I got all these new ones. I probably should just be using them, you know? Use it or lose it. Okay, I took that same stencil, but I just rotated it. So you can get all kinds of different looks depending on how you rotate the stencil. This time I pulled out Aquamarine. So you can see how these colors, it's like true blue, light blue, sky blue. And then you got the Aquamarine, the Meadow. They're all just kind of working together and making a little Dainty Plaid magic. Maybe I'm going too much. You can go a lot, you can go a little. You can go harder, you can go home. It just depends on whatever tickles your fancy. Okay, so there, I'm going to stop here before I do any more. And I trim this down. Now for a sentiment, I'm using this new Sentiment Suite Hello hot foil plate. And I'm using a little champagne foil. Here's the trick I've learned. And tape it down. Tape down your foil plate to your foil to your panel. Let it sit on there. Get nice and hot. And then you just pray. Okay, listen, it doesn't always work. And I was worried after all that work I put into making that plaid background, if this foil doesn't turn out, I might fall to my knees and cry buckets of tears. But I got to tell you, it foiled like butter. And I don't think I even said that properly. Butter. Like the foiling on top of the plaid blended background is just like, I don't think the camera's picking up and doing it justice. Now for embellishment, I'm doing some of these clear iridescent dots. But can I take a minute and talk about this embellishment tray? It's brass. It's hefty. It's got the Pinkfresh logo, little bit of floral on it. It feels good in the hand. It feels like you mean business. You pour your embellishments in it, and then you just you have a time. And you feel like a class act. Look at this card. It's so simple, but it really packs a foil punch and a dainty plaid punch. I don't know, but you could customize that any color you want. Moving on to card number 2, I'm going to be featuring the new Fall Leaf Border stencil set. Now, this stencil set is packed. Like, you get 5 stencils, layering up a gorgeous fall border. There's also sentiments that you can blend in the stencil set. There's a lot here happening. And okay, so I'm masking off one of the sentiments. And this particular stencil is just big open circles and a few little sprinkled dots. I'm going to be inking that up with Warm Buff, which is a very kind of a light khaki color. I'm getting a light wash here. And again, you can use all the 5 stencils, which I'm going to do, or you could just mix and match. Maybe you want to use just a couple. Maybe you don't want to do it whatever you want to do it. Do it however you want. Okay, so there is Warm Buff. Now I'm going to start layering on these gorgeous fall border images, and I'm going to ink up with a variety of color. I started with olive. Now let me just say, I think I made this very complex, maybe harder than it needed to be, because I used a lot of different colors, as you can see. I've got my inks over to the right. They're sitting in the handy dandy ink stand. Love that thing. Use it all the time. What are all these colors? I'm not even going to try to name them all, but you can see them if you want to reference that. But I'm going for a fall feel. I am doing a little bit of gradient here. As you can see, I go a little bit heavier handed on one side of the blooms. And I'm just having I'm having some fall fun is what it is. Now, everybody always gets upset if I don't give a Hank update about Hank the Tank, our puppy dog. We've had him 1 year now, and he's living his best summer life. But can I tell you, he's spoiled. I think all our pets are spoiled, as they should be. But today, I've been taking him for a 2-mile walk around the neighborhood. And we always run into other dogs. And I don't know what he does, but he always irritates the other dogs that we meet. He irritates. He tries to sniff, and he sniffs where he shouldn't sniff. And then he ticks them off, and they snap on him. He doesn't mean, he's a happy little friendly dog, but he ticks the other dogs off when he's sniffing where he shouldn't be. And every time we see a garbage truck driver, he thinks the garbage man wants to give him a treat. And every time we see a UPS driver, he wants to run up inside the UPS truck because he thinks that the truck driver might want to give him a treat. If we ever happen to go to any sort of fast food drive-through, he's convinced that they have a pup cup for him at all times. And let me tell you, he has mastered the adorable begging look. I mean, he can get anything he wants out of anyone from the family at any time of the day. He can turn it on. This dog has about 5,000 different expressions. I just can't believe that this dog has so many expressions, and he can get whatever he wants. He has everyone wrapped around his fingers. But we love him, and he's a good pup. He's getting me fit this summer. He's getting me fit. We're doing it every day, and if I don't, he comes up in the morning, and he's got a beggar look. He's got the beggar look, the pouty, hard done by beggar look that gets me out of bed and makes me walk him. But you know what? And I always pass people, and they'll say, are you walking your dog, or is your dog walking you? And it's the truth. He's walking me. Okay, so what is this color? Dough. Doing a little bit of dark brown for some detail. So you've got the blooms, and then you got the little detail that adds like stems and whatnot. And I usually do kind of like stay in the same color family, but just add a darker shade. That's what I love about the Pinkfresh Studio inks, is because they got all the different shades in the same color family. Now you can see how complex I made this with all the different colors. You certainly don't have to go that crazy, but you know me. I like to go as crazy as I can. Now, here I'm blending one of the sentiments that is in that stencil set. Just a simple thank you with that dough, kind of a dark brown ink color. I go a little bit darker on the edges, and then there's a coordinating die for all the blended sentiments. I love that there's a coordinating die, because sometimes you want to pop it up. You know, because dimension is life. So I popped up the sentiment. I added some of these champagne metallic pearls, and I mounted this on like a craft base. Love that thick border around the edge. And there you have the fall leaf border stencil set showing off in all her fall glory. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure and check out the rest of the Pinkfresh Studio July release blog hop. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.